because now everyone gets lazy and just texts, And I'm like, there's this great apparatus. It's called a phone that you can actually talk to people. It's pretty neat.
I am so happy to have as our featured guest the one and only Aaron Sánchez. Ladies and gentlemen, this is award-winning chef, TV personality, author, and philanthropist. And just spent a couple of weeks back with him at an event for the Emeril Lagasse Foundation, which he's associated with the Aarón Sánchez, Impact Fund. And it's great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Mark. You're one of my favorite people in the whole entire world. Uh, of course, a board member and one of our fearless leaders, and the mission of taking care of our youth, which is our most valuable commodity. So I appreciate all your endeavors and all you do as well. So I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to be here.
Thank you very much, Arun. I deeply appreciate. Listen, we know you're out in Los Angeles right now filming. What projects are you doing out there, and how is it? How does it feel different than not being in the restaurant and kitchen, at least today?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing well. I have a production company called Cocina. So this year marks sort of the 23rd year of my first cookbook coming out called La Comida del Barrio, and basically, we're just taking this opportunity to kind of revisit some of those locations that I featured in the book, which is inner city Latin neighborhood restaurants, and to see how they've kind of progressed and how they're maturing, if you will, and also just seeing new stuff as well, and trying to get a good barometer on how people are cooking, or there's new restaurants, are they being traditional about things, and all of that. So, yeah, so I'm doing that, and then as far as not being in the kitchen, it's different, I love it. I've done it my whole life. I will continue to do it. But it's, for me, I use television and all the beautiful things we get to do as a marketing tool to get people into the restaurants. You know what I mean? So my job is to inspire. My job is to create the menus, work with the team. If I'm cooking every night at the restaurant, we have something wrong.
Well, even though you're out in LA, you're on
Yeah.
the set out there. How does New Orleans food and the cuisine that you're used to preparing sneak its way into your daily life?
That's a great question. Well, there's not many days that I don't go talking about Paul Prudhomme, or the rich and vibrant food culture that is New Orleans. We glorify our chefs like no other place in the country. You could be Tom Cruise walking down the street, we wouldn't care. But if you see Frank Brightson or somebody like that, or Emerald, be like, oh my gosh, Nina Compton or whatever. So it's just it sort of influences my life. I love the fact that now I'm being associated with New Orleans. Pe- People know me from being there now, and so that's one of the biggest things and treats I get. Even though I spend my time in Walnut Creek area up here because I fell in love with Linda, who lives here. But I definitely do call New Orleans home as well.
Yeah. Is there a New Orleans dish that you think really tells the story of the city better than any other? You've mentioned some great
Yeah.
chefs just now in the conversation, but any dish that comes to mind that says
Yeah.
this is New Orleans?
Yeah, I do a shrimp and grits, but Mexican style. So I actually I call it ancho, like compound butter, rosemary, Worcester sauce, all of the familiar flavors that you would expect with barbecue shrimp, or that kind of deal, or shrimp and grits. But I do ancho chili peppers with anchovies. So it's an ancho butter, but like with all the flavors of barbecue shrimp. So it's Mexican barbecue shrimp in essence. And
Yeah, you just said that your cooking blends Mexican traditions with Creole and
it,
Southern
it,
influences, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's important, and I don't like the word fusion because I think it kind of creates confusion. But I think the idea of blending influences and it being rooted in a traditional dish, I think is cool.
Yeah. You know, speaking of preparing the dish, what's that one ingredient or flavor that instantly takes you back to New Orleans?
Oh, well, I mean, well, anything like, Chef Paul's magics, his seasonings, and he told me something very interesting and very prophetic. And he's from Opelousas. He was from Opelousas,
Yeah,
and
I'd like to know more about that background too when you have a moment.
yeah, yeah. So, uh, one day I asked him, I said, chef, what's up with the seasonings? And he said, well, when I was a kid in Opelousas, chicken was truly free range. It ate the sassafras that fell from the tree, which is the primary ingredient in filet powder, is sassafras. And a little bit of the satsuma peel and a little bit of the ground, so that the chicken actually tasted like where it's from. And then with mass produced meats and stuff, it didn't taste like anything to him. So he was introducing flavor memories through the seasoning. Isn't that brilliant? Yeah. So very, very profound man. He had a very lasting effect on my life and still does. So.
Yeah, I mean, tell us about that, those early days working alongside him.
Well, yeah, because I lost my father when I was 13, so sadly, and I kind of, teenagers are already incorrigible as they are, because we have a bunch of them at our house. But so, and I just reacted poorly, and I needed some structure and some discipline, and my mom kind of sent me down to Louisiana as a way of kind of like, intervention, if you will, culinary intervention, and I went down and I stayed with him for the first summer when I was 16, and then I went back when I was 18. So yeah, he got me in line. We went to work every day, 12-hour days, and I understood the value of what this industry is about.
And I relate that to what you're doing now with your impact fund. You're
Yeah.
having such an influence on this next generation of culinary specialists, let's call them
Hmm,
that,
hmm,
as they want
hmm.
to get into it. Um, so, I mean, that's got to be an impact that you are very proud of. Speak to that, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
Yes,
moves
Mark.
you down that road?
Well, our youth, and this, Mark, brother Nate, but our youth is our most valuable commodity. And if we don't set them up for success, then we're failing. And I think I wanted to give back to an industry that has allowed me and afforded me a beautiful life. And not in the ways you would think, but just, the connections with people like yourself and everybody that's lives have changed through food. And I wanted to make sure that this next generation understood the importance of that. And then also, putting themselves, on the back seat, having somebody else's needs be more important than their own. And I just think right now, sometimes our youth can get distracted. And I think kitchens are really good places to kind of focus and understand the important things in life. So there's multiple reasons. I started in 2017, very grassroots, just asking, friends, chefs, to put on events and try to generate some money. And then through that, my friendship with Chef Emeril and Alden and all of you beautiful people, I was so grateful and so appreciative that, I was kind of absorbed into the foundation, to the Emeril Lagasse Foundation, and it strives so much more. And I never think that we could have reached these heights.
Yeah, as it is, food is the universal language, and it has opened so many doors. And it's great to see how many doors you're opening for this generation, and to see their excitement when they're around you because they're just feeding off of you. To
Yes,
use a
yes. And,
pun.
I just had the pleasure of receiving an award in Washington, D.C. for an organization called Mentor. And they just, when I got up there and just to receive the award, which I'm very grateful for, all the people at Mentor, thank you for recognizing the Emeril Lagasse Fund and the Aarón Sánchez Impact Fund. But the war had really nothing to do with me. It has to do with the kids, and the kids are the ones that the 29 that we've graduated, and then the six that are in the program now, and we're doing interviews for the next batch. But for them to sacrifice 11 months out of their year, a lot of them living away from home, and just that kind of courage and that dedication that's the awards for them. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then so it's been very rewarding.
Well, we talk about the importance of nonprofit organizations and the work that they do, and the most important asset they have is the people
Hmm.
who get involved. And you are mentoring the way for a lot of folks and role modeling how to get a nonprofit that's really making an impact. So thank you for what you do there.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mark.
Well, hey, we're all in this together, right? And I know how much
Absolutely.
Jennifer Killian and the whole team at the Emeril Lagasse Foundation loves working with you, and there's more great things to
Thank
come.
you.
I got to ask you, when you land back in New Orleans and you'll be back here, with Johnny Sanchez, the restaurant, and your other
Mhm.
activities, tell me, what's the first place you want to eat when you get back here? Now,
Oof.
without Johnny
Oof.
Sanchez, now you can't say Johnny Sanchez because I know you're going to be there.
Yeah, of course. I love that's a great question, Mark. I mean, there's so many. It depends if I've been going to the gym a lot, because then that determines if I'm going to Mandina's or somewhere really rich. Yeah. Uh, um,
You're going to have rolled
the
fish or you're going to have fried fish, right? One or the other.
exactly one of the two. No, I mean, I love to go to Luke. I go to Luke's restaurant, to John's restaurant a lot, because I just think
Yeah,
it has like that menu that you want to eat, everything on it. Um, I love Compare La Pan, obviously. I love Pesh. Those are those kind of places, because, my mom said you have to have things on your menu that people that have to go eat. Like, have you
yeah,
had that over there? And all those restaurants have that. Like, have you had the Flammkuchen at Luke, which is like a little German pizza? Have you had, the pickle claws at Pesh, the pickle crab claws? You know, have you had what Chef Nina makes over there with like these little curry little things? So you have to have that. So I crave those dishes as much as I crave the place.
yeah. I think you just answered my next question. Is what's your
Mm.
go-to comfort food?
Oh man, well, if we talk in New Orleans, phew, I'd have to be a po' boy. But I think
Uh,
I like parasols, and I
ah,
know people are more akin the Domelices and all of that up a little bit further up. I like them too. Oh, I forgot to mention Clancy's. I
ah,
love going to Clancy's because I used to live right around the corner from
yeah.
Clancy's uptown. That's
You know,
my other
your
favorite.
your buddy Emeril's favorite place for a po' boy is Domelisi, so you did
Yeah,
mention
yeah,
that. You
yeah.
did mention that. Um,
Exactly.
you
Absolutely.
now you spoke about Chef Paul Prudhomme as having an influence, but is there another person who has influenced you that somebody may not know about?
Yeah. Well, I have met. You can't just have one mentor. I feel like people should have many mentors. Um, a chef that I really admire, that I think is just amazing, is a chef named Paul Kahn. He's in Chicago. He's like the best chef in Chicago. And the reason I really admire him a lot is because he's a good businessman. You can be a great chef and super talented in the kitchen, but if you can't run a profitable business, then what's the point, right? So he does both super well. So I admire that about Chef Paul. Paul Kahn. Yeah, he's
Very
really
good.
amazing, and
And
he has
y'all,
a great partner named Donnie.
yeah, and you
And
stay in touch with him on a regular basis.
absolutely. I'm the annoying guy that calls everybody, because now everyone gets lazy and just texts. And I'm like, there's this great apparatus. It's called a phone that you can actually talk to people. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, and that's probably something you can impart upon the next generation. You can't
Exactly.
two-way communication is where it all starts, right? And
Yeah,
two-way
man.
like what you and I are doing right now.
Absolutely. And I think I love the importance of it. So I appreciate it a lot, Mark. Thank you.
What's
Mm.
one thing that New Orleans has taught you that you carry everywhere you go now?
New Orleans has taught me um, to not forget my roots, to appreciate everything that's happened. As far as if I didn't have New Orleans in my life earlier on, I probably wouldn't be the chef I am or the person I am today. So it's just a constant reminder of humility, tradition, beautiful melting pot, the gumbo that is New Orleans. So when you say New Orleans food, you can't say it's one thing. It could be Acadian, it could be more African
Right, it's
American or
it's the
whatever.
region,
Yeah, it
right?
can mean a lot of different things. So I think that's where I really gather a lot of inspiration from as well.
Good. Well, with the remaining time, I'd like to go through some quick fire answers on our official New Orleans questionnaire. You ready for that?
Of course, yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and turn on your notifications. Please follow us. We've got new shows each and every week. And a very, very special thanks to all of our sponsors who are making this possible. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.